we can up our physicality in everything we're doing in half-court defense, we'll win this.
Either at a home game or a road game, especially on the road, it's nothing better than getting to a place where you hear absolutely nothing besides the ball drilling, the shoes sneaking, and the sound of the net.
I grew up in my backyard, counting down seconds, dreaming that I was in the NBA playing against LeBron or somebody or Kobe to win a game or win a championship.
Gets it off, gets it back, Reeves on the drive, he puts it up, it's gone!
All those little moments, you gotta love those moments. You can't shy away from them.
If you want to win and achieve something, there's always a little bit of pressure. There's a lot more pressure to succeed here because of all the championships.
Not everybody have the privilege to really show what they got. When you say pressure is privilege, I get a chance to prove myself. And I'm angry in a good way where I can represent this purple and gold the best way I can because it counts.
They rebuilt the game mid-playoffs, and nobody noticed. You remember when the Los Angeles Lakers looked predictable, slow, almost solved, like every defense already had the answer. Trap the ball, crowd the star, force mistakes, and wait for everything to fall apart. And for a while, it felt true, because the offense looked heavy, like it needed too much effort just to create one clean shot. But then something strange started happening. Something so quiet you could miss it if you blinked. Because instead of one player holding the game together, the ball began to move. Not fast, not flashy, but smart. Like every pass had a reason, every cut had a purpose, and right in the middle of it all stood LeBron James. Not attacking the same way, not forcing drives, not even chasing points. And that is where it starts to feel confusing, because when a legend changes his style this late, you expect decline, you expect weakness. But what you actually see is something else, something sharper, because now he's not just playing, he's controlling. Standing at the elbow, scanning the floor like a map, waiting for one mistake, and the second it appears, boom, a perfect pass slices the defense open. No predictable pick and roll spam, no one-man show. Instead, it's movement, trust, timing, and suddenly Rui Hachimura cuts at the perfect moment, always one step ahead of the defense. And now the full picture hits you. This is not the same offense. This is a system, a living system, where every piece matters. And the deeper you watch, the more dangerous it feels, because it removes predictability. It removes easy answers. It forces defenders to think. And once defenders start thinking instead of reacting, they're already late. And that's where this whole thing becomes unstoppable. And yet, at the center, LeBron is still there, but different, evolving. Because at this stage, he's not trying to outrun defenders anymore. He's outthinking them, outreading them, controlling pace like a master. And that shift is what changes everything, because now the game slows down for him, but speeds up for everyone else. And you can see it in those post moments, where a defender tries to hold position, tries to stay strong, but one small move draws help, and the second help comes, the ball is already gone, flying to the corner, wide open shot, splash, and now the defense looks lost, always chasing, never in control. And that pressure keeps building possession after possession, because this system doesn't break under stress. It adapts, it finds new angles, new solutions, and even when shots aren't falling, it still creates good looks. And that's the scariest part, because it means the system itself is working, not just the players. And then you start noticing something else, the energy, the mind players, from stars to bench, and suddenly every possession feels intentional, every decision feels connected, and now you understand why even tough nights don't break them, because they trust the system, they trust each other, and trust is hard to defend. And then comes the other side of the story, defense, where everything gets even more intense, because now it's not just about scoring, it's about control, about forcing mistakes, about breaking rhythm, and you see it when opponents try to isolate, try to find space, but suddenly 2 defenders appear, then 3, angles close, options disappear, and even elite scorers start to hesitate because they're not seeing the same look twice. And that confusion builds frustration, and frustration leads to mistakes, turnovers, bad shots, broken rhythm. And that's exactly what happens when Kevin Durant starts strong, but then gets trapped, doubled, forced into tough decisions, and suddenly the flow is gone, replaced by pressure. And that's not accidental, that's planning, that's preparation. And behind all of this is JJ Redick, guiding, adjusting, making small changes that create big results. Spacing here, timing there, a different coverage, a smarter rotation. And now the whole system feels tighter, sharper, more connected. And now you go back to those early struggles, when things looked broken, when nothing seemed to fit, and it almost feels unreal, like that version of the team doesn't exist anymore, because this version is different, smarter, calmer, more complete. And the biggest surprise is how it happened. Not through one big move, not through one star exploding, but through small changes stacking together, building something new piece by piece. And that's what makes it so dangerous, because it's not temporary, it's not luck, it's structure, it's identity. And identity is hard to break. And as this continues, as players keep trusting, keep moving, keep reading the game, it only gets stronger, only gets more difficult to stop. And now the real question begins to form. Not loud, but clear. How do you defend this? How do you stop a system that doesn't rely on one thing? How do you prepare for a team where every player can hurt you? And that question has no easy answer, because the moment you focus on one threat, another appears. The moment you adjust, they adjust again. And that constant shift keeps you locked in, because it feels like something is always about to happen, something unexpected. And that feeling pulls you deeper, makes you watch longer, because you want to see the next move, the next adjustment, the next surprise. And that's what makes this version of the Lakers so different, because it's not just about winning games, it's about how they're winning, with control, with intelligence, with trust. And at the center of it all, a legend who chose to evolve instead of fade, who turned limitation into advantage, who changed the game without forcing it. And now, everything feels connected. Everything feels purposeful, and once you see it clearly, you realize this is not just a hot streak, this is a transformation. And the scariest part is it still feels like it's growing, like we haven't even seen the final version yet. And that's why you can't look away, because every second feels like the next step in something bigger, something still unfolding, something that might end up being remembered as the moment everything changed.